I've noticed something strange. Websites look better than they've ever looked, and yet a lot of them perform worse than ever. Not slower, not uglier, worse. More traffic, fewer inquiries, more features, less engagement, more pages, less action. And now AI can build a website in minutes, which means we're producing more websites than ever before, while repeating many of the same mistakes people were making years ago. That's what I want to talk about today. Not design trends, not SEO hacks, not the latest AI tool. The mistakes I keep seeing over and over again that quietly destroy the effectiveness of otherwise good websites. And some of these might make people uncomfortable, because the problem usually isn't what they think it is. I've been building websites for over 2 decades, since the very beginning, when websites were hand-coded in HTML and CSS. Long enough to watch entire design trends appear, dominate conversations, and disappear. Long enough to hear people say SEO is dead multiple times. Long enough to watch businesses completely rebuild websites for reasons that had nothing to do with the website. And honestly, the patterns don't change very much. The technology changes. The customer behavior doesn't. I've worked with companies that spent months debating colors, fonts, animations, page layouts, and visual details. Then after launch, they wondered why leads weren't coming in. I've seen businesses spend thousands on redesigns while investing almost nothing into content, messaging, positioning, or visibility. I've seen websites rank well in Google and generate almost no inquiries. And I've seen very simple websites outperform competitors that were 10 times more sophisticated. After a while, you stop looking at websites as collections of pages. You start seeing them as reflections of how a business thinks. And that's where many of the biggest problems begin. One pattern I see constantly is businesses treating appearance as the primary goal. Now, don't misunderstand me. Design matters. A terrible-looking website creates trust issues immediately. But once a website reaches a certain level of professionalism, something else takes over. Communication. A visitor lands on your homepage. They aren't asking, "Wow, what font is this?" They're asking, "Can you help me? Do you understand my problem? Why should I trust you?" Most websites answer none of those questions. Instead, they talk about themselves, their history, their values, their mission statement, their company story. And meanwhile, the visitor is still trying to figure out what the business actually does. I once had a client who was convinced they needed a complete redesign. They hated the site, wanted everything replaced, new colors, new branding, new layout. The real issue? Nobody could understand the offer. The messaging was confusing, not the entire website. The results improved dramatically. The website wasn't broken, the explanation was. This next business mistake never seems to go away. A business launches a website, then waits and waits and waits, almost like they're expecting Google to throw customers at them simply because the website exists. I understand why people think this. Building a website feels like a major accomplishment, because it is. But opening a website is a little like opening a store in the middle of nowhere. The doors are open, that doesn't mean people know you're there. I've had conversations with business owners 6 months after launch. They ask, "Why isn't my website working?" Then I ask what they've done since launching. Nothing. No content, no SEO, no updates, no promotion, no reviews, no outreach, nothing. A website isn't a finish line, it's the starting line. And that's not what people want to hear, because a website project feels finite. Marketing doesn't. Let me throw out an observation that might generate some disagreement. I don't think most websites have a traffic problem. I think many websites have a communication problem, and that's an important distinction, because traffic problems and communication problems require completely different solutions. I've reviewed websites getting visitors every day, yet almost nobody contacts the business. The owner immediately blames SEO, or Google, or competition, or AI. But then you look at the site. No clear next step, no proof, No examples, no testimonials, no reason to trust them, no explanation of why they're different. Visitors showed up. The website simply gave them no reason to stay. That's a very different problem, and throwing more traffic at it often makes the situation worse, because you're paying to expose more people to the same confusion. Another mistake I see constantly is businesses building websites based on what competitors are doing, which sounds logical, until everybody starts looking exactly the same. Same headlines, same stock photos, same promises, same service pages, same language, same layouts. I sometimes ask business owners a simple question. If I removed your logo, could someone tell your company apart from 3 competitors? The answer is often no. That's a problem, because customers don't compare businesses in isolation. They compare options. And if every website sounds identical, people start making decisions based on price. Not trust, not expertise, not fit. Price. The companies winning online aren't always the loudest. They're often the clearest. They're easier to understand, easier to trust, easier to remember. That sounds simple. It's surprisingly rare. AI has made this entire conversation more interesting, because now anyone can build a website, and that's genuinely impressive. What AI has not done is solve strategy. I've been seeing AI-generated websites lately. Many look fantastic, clean, modern, professional, but underneath, the same problems. Generic messaging, no differentiation, weak offers, no proof, no positioning. AI is doing something fascinating. It's exposing business weaknesses faster. Because if everyone suddenly has access to decent design, then design stops being the advantage. Now the questions become, what makes you different? Why should someone trust you? Why should they choose you? Those questions can't be solved with a prompt. Here's something I've changed my mind about over the years. Earlier in my career, I probably gave design too much credit, because great design was less common. Today, most websites look acceptable. Trust has become the bigger issue. People buy from businesses they trust. Websites help create that trust, but trust doesn't come from animations, or trendy layouts, or having 17 pages nobody reads. Trust comes from evidence, testimonials, case studies, examples, clear explanations, real expertise. Visitors don't mean perfection. They need confidence, and confidence comes from removing doubt. Many websites accidentally create doubt because they're trying so hard to impress people. That's an expensive mistake. The more websites I review, the more convinced I become that many website problems aren't website problems at all. They're business problems wearing a website costume. A company doesn't know who it's targeting. That shows up on the homepage. A company doesn't know how it's different. That shows up in the messaging. A company doesn't understand its customers' concerns. That shows up in conversion rates. A company doesn't invest in visibility. That shows up in traffic. The website simply reveals what's already there. And that's why redesigns often disappoint people. Because redesigning communication problems as design problems rarely works. You can rebuild every page, switch platforms, add AI, add features, add animations, add anything you want. But if visitors still don't understand why they should choose you, nothing really changes. The funny thing is that most of these mistakes aren't technical. They're not caused by software. They're not caused by AI. They're not caused by Google. They're caused by businesses forgetting who their website is actually for. The websites that consistently perform well aren't necessarily the newest, or the most advanced, or the most expensive. They're the ones that make it easy for customers to take the next step. And that's a very different goal than simply looking impressive. So I'm curious, when you look at your own website right now, do you think your biggest challenge is traffic? Or do you think visitors aren't fully understanding what makes your business worth choosing? I'd love to hear your experience. And if you would like more tips on running a smooth, profitable web design business, please like this video and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any valuable tips. My name is Fabio Peters. Until next time, take care.